Asked to critique an article on Jezebel.com called Why Guys Really Hate Being Creepy. This was written April 20th, 2012. Doesn't say who wrote it. Maybe it's the same person that writes all these articles, I don't know. But why do guys really hate being called creep? And a whole lot of smart ass language and mockery of men's rights activists, downplaying of various guys they cite on Reddit and other sites. That creep is much worse than douchebag, asshole, and pussy. And then the author goes into that typical, well, douchebag comes from disrespecting women, pussy comes from disrespecting women, calling a man a woman and devaluing him. Well, women are allowed to be women, but men aren't allowed to be women. Take a look back at when men used to be hissed at if they didn't go to war with the Spartans. The women would dress them up as women and hiss at them because they weren't real men. So keep that in mind when we degrade men by calling them women. Women are still safer than those degraded men, generally speaking. And then we get a bunch more talk about how being a creep is legitimate because, as the last couple of paragraphs of this article, it's not that it's shaming men, anti-creep shaming campaigns. You know, of course, the implication from men's rights activists saying, you want to talk all this slut shaming, a slutty woman can do what she wants, and yet slut shaming is a terrible thing. A creepy ass woman is nowhere to be found in the mention of this article. It's assumed that only men can be creepy. Meanwhile, more and more as society goes towards popularizing and allowing and encouraging homosexuality, more and more women are going to know what plenty of women already know, that women can be creepy as hell, to men and to women. Women can be obsessive. That's pretty much all it takes to be creepy. Legitimately creepy. But then we go down here where it says, the article says, though the word can be occasionally and used unfairly to describe a physically unattractive guy's genuinely respectful attempt at striking up a conversation, creepy serves a vital function. No other word is as effective as at describing when a man has crossed a woman's boundary. No other word forces a man to reflect on how his behavior makes other people feel. A guy can disprove accusations of being weak, if he's called a pussy, by displaying strength, often in foolish ways. But a guy can only disprove the charge of creepiness by fundamentally altering his behavior to be genuinely more respectful of women. But as it already explains up at the top, that the word can be occasionally, how about often? Often used unfairly to describe a physically unattractive guy who is genuinely just trying to be respectful. And so the only way you can disprove creepiness is by being fundamentally more respectful to women. No, how about you just be more attractive, and then you're less likely to be called creepy. And that's the deal. Things that are creepy when an unattractive person does. Anytime I hear some petty, ridiculous woman talk about creepy, they say, oh, this guy did such and such, it's creepy. I will say to them, I'm the guy that says this, and it can be my friend or somebody who's talking about it. It could just whoever. When they say so-and-so did this and that and they were creepy, well, you didn't find him attractive, right? Sometimes they say, oh, it doesn't matter because if they're attractive or not, that was creepy. But typically it is, well, no, they were ugly. So if it was an attractive guy, you wouldn't have minded that. Well, no, because I mean, like, and then it turns into this whole, well, men should be as neurotic as women have been taught to be, and men should be forever looking for, I didn't give him that come hither. I didn't give him any indication that I was interested, and yet he tried to engage me, and he should have known because I was answering his questions and smiling, that I was smiling in that way that doesn't make. That's creepy as hell to me. To be that straight worried face about this guy was being creepy. It's like he was talking to me and like I was talking back to him. I mean, I don't want to be rude, but all this excuse not to have some personal responsibility. But wait, it gets worse. Last paragraph, being genuinely respectful to women. This, of course, is why some guys hate the word so much, creepy. It forces men to reflect carefully about the fact they're not attractive to a given woman. And she won't say it. She'll just be petty and then wander off, and he'll find out later he's creepy. No, it causes them to reflect carefully about how they make women feel. No wonder that so many guys, how many guys? I don't know, I'm just saying so many. Yeah, I know. So many guys are campaigning against creep shaming. After all, the sooner the term creep becomes socially unacceptable, the sooner men can go back to not having to think about women's boundaries. Because the creep thing comes up, women, it's the best word women can use for explaining that their boundaries have been crossed. Not really. No, it's the best word women can use to say, a guy that I don't find attractive did something that if a guy that I found attractive did, I'd fuck him in the bathroom the first night I met him. And don't get me wrong. Let me start like this. Take a look at this picture. That was at the top of the article. Why is that guy creepy? This guy. Why is that creepy? Is he doing something disrespectful? Is he invading your space? Well, no, that's just a caricature that we're using to dehumanize that guy into this marketing gimmick of shaming men, just generally, under the guise of protecting women. What about this picture? That's down in the comments section. That's from KCPANNA, Casey Panna, and she says, I fully support a creep shaming campaign. Any 35-plus-year-old greased up foreigner, usually not American, IMO, in an untucked, striped, button-down shirt that thinks it's acceptable to approach me and my friends. We are 19 years old. In a club by grabbing our ass deserves some re-education. A man who can't recognize when a woman is out of his league is a creep because he lacks an understanding of a basic social structure. This comment's up on the top. It doesn't say how many likes or anything it has, but she's got a picture also up there. You can ignore the writing on the wall when it doesn't suit you, whoever wrote this Jezebel article. But imagine that. This is a much more realistic interpretation of what women mean, plenty women mean, when they say creep. They don't mean, oh, he violated my space, and so therefore I'm calling him a creep because he's being hostile. No, it's, oh, he's 35 plus, some arbitrary number. Girls are taught to do this arbitrary number. We'll get more into arbitrary numbers in a minute when I explain how I fucked a 13-year-old. More on that in a second. 35 years old, greased up foreigner, untucked shirt. And somebody actually takes her to task at the bottom and explains each of those points, like, why does 35 matter? I like older guys. Why does the untucked shirt matter? Why does it matter that they're greased up? All this kind of stuff. Grabbing our ass. People like her throw that in there because it's like, well, yeah, I'm not for people grabbing your ass, therefore your whole argument is good. No, everything you said was ridiculous. And the whole grabbing your ass is either, nowadays it's sexual harassment, it could be assault, or it could just be disrespectful, and you could use all of the socially engineered stupidity that panders to you as a woman. You could use that to just stop the guy and say, hey, don't do that. Or you could appeal to everyone who would take at the club or wherever you are, everyone who would take your side over his and say, hey, everyone, I'm a young woman. Make this 35-year-old plus greased up foreigner leave me alone. No, instead you either made up that story or it really happened, and instead of engaging it assertively, you passively didn't do anything. Then you aggressively talk about it to say, yeah, me too, let's be dramatic. It's not necessarily as demeaning as saying you're creepy to a guy, especially when he's not. But you're dramatic, tedious. So then so this guy's a creep because if he doesn't realize the girl's out of his league, and this girl's probably not out of anyone's league. For every girl who thinks she's so much better than a guy, when it comes down to money, yeah, you can be bought. You kind of unprincipled people. And I'm talking about who I'm talking about, not who I'm not talking about. You lack a basic understanding of the social structure. that puts me over here on a pedestal, a small confined space. You're doing it to yourself. Oh, you have a really nice personality? We're in a fucking nightclub. I just want a boner-free radius to enjoy music and my high. Yeah, you want to get high. And the girl below her talks about how, yeah, I agree and I get with my gay friends. Most of my friends are gay guys anyway, so I don't care about the boner-free zone, but the boners aren't for me. Ha ha ha. All this kind of stuff. Is the next one down? As I said, as homosexuality becomes more popularized, it won't be enough to just shame any guy that does anything, comes up to you, is a greased up foreigner, is older than you would like. The idea that it's about invading a woman's space and not just making a woman's pettiness buzzer go off. This guy is out of I'm out of this guy's league. We raise those kind of girls for failure, telling them to variously worship the guys they want to be with and have no self-respect, and to be disgusted with the guys they don't want to be with. Not right in the middle where, oh, I'm attracted to you, but I have self-respect. I'm not attracted to you, but I have self-respect. I'm self-governing. No, it's, hey, let's all talk about how there's creepy guys, and then let's define it as any man who doesn't recognize a woman's out of his league for lacking basic social structure. Any man 35 years or up, greased up foreigner. This girl's 19. I just turned 34 yesterday. And I take particular offense to her saying 35 and up. I wish her arbitrary ass number was higher because then I'd be... Oh, no, wait, I'm in her arbitrary number. Good. But imagine this. She's 19. That's a little too old for me. Because like I said, I fucked a 13-year-old. Wait for it. That's never okay, right? That's creepy just to say because you feel it. Because remember that whole thing. It's men have to take women's feelings seriously. And just like when the girl says, he was 35 years old. He was greasy. All this. Okay, what does that have to do? He grabbed your ass. Oh, okay, then your whole story flies. Well, let's just focus on the ass grabbing. And that whole thing, all that nonsense put up there, all that man-shaming shit in the whole article, and then it's about women's feelings. And you can't touch that because, as we know, feelings are never wrong. What, you going to blame the feeler? Yeah, we're going to blame the feeler. Because you know what? You made up those feelings by buying into a culture that would tell you you're out of some men's league so you can act as disrespectful as you want. Meanwhile, it's creepy if I feel it's creepy. So did it feel creepy when I said I fucked a 13-year-old? Because I fucked a 13-year-old. It was great. Let me tell you all about it. First, though, pause this at some point, right around now. Well, let me tell you what to think when you pause it. Imagine, is there any excuse for a guy, I'm 34, is there any excuse for a guy to say he fucked a 13-year-old? And I mean it, I did. Is there any excuse for that? Let's see, I feel that he's creepy and feelings are never wrong. My last girlfriend was 26. My girlfriend before that, 19. Before that, 18. That's all within the last couple of years. But the girl I was closest to and had the best sex with, she was 13. Now pause it. Is that at all acceptable? Is there anything you can imagine in your feelings, not in your mind, in your feelings? Let's kill this guy for fucking a 13-year-old. Nothing at all? Impossible? How dare I? You feel that I'm a creep? I was 11. Oh, yeah, I know. Feelings. Feelings are never wrong, even when they are entirely wrong. And always you will be my princess, and no one should ever talk sense to you, because reality is refreshing at your discretion, but honesty is rude at your whim, and it's creepy, and these people are terrible, and oh, I'm just trying to dance at the club and get my high on and hang out with my gay friends. I don't want these guys around me. They're creepy because they're above this imaginary line. Therefore, they should know their place and know I'm out of their league. Meanwhile, one more run through. Consider these pictures. Why are these people creepy?